We're going to do a little bit of Perashat Balaq. I'm going to give you an approach to this parasha, which is certainly nothing like you've ever seen before. It's definitely going to be very different. It's a little bit complicated, though. So stay with me. What we're going to be focusing on is what's the point of this story with the talking donkey? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Every time I learn this parasha, I ask myself, what's the point over here? Why do we have a talking donkey? Like, what's going on over here? Why do we need this? And if you think about it, if you read the plot of this week's parasha, if this story was there or if it wasn't there, the plot would have been the same. Everything would have been the same at the end of the day, whether you had the story with the donkey or you didn't have the story. It's like a tangent. It's like a side story that Bil'am, well, let's review what the parasha is talking about. You have Balaq, who is the king of Moab, who is threatened by Bnei Israel, who feels as though he needs to exterminate them. So he hires this sorcerer named Bil'am to go and to curse Israel so that he will be able to defeat them and that they wouldn't be a threat to him any longer, right? And as Bil'am is on the way, go to Balak to curse the Jewish people, right? He's on his donkey, and then there's that whole story with the talking donkey. So really, that whole story is like a side thing. He's on his way to curse them, and it talks about him traveling with his donkey and what happened with his donkey. But technically, you don't even need that story, and especially since you don't need the story. So why does the Torah tell us about a talking donkey? What's the point of this talking donkey? Why is this necessary? That's what I want to deal with. All right. Do any of you guys have an answer that you've heard in the past that you want to share now? Before we get to the answer I want to give, what have you learned? You must have heard some kind of an answer to this, right? You must have heard some kind of an explanation to why there's a talking donkey in this week's parasha. Why is that the case? Moshe is giving me like a no, like you never heard a good
I didn't hear a single explanation, Rabbi.
You never heard a single explanation, but it's a good question, right? It demands an explanation.
It is a good question.
It definitely demands an explanation. Leon Fatia, you have any wise words of wisdom on this? What have you learned? What you never had, and no one explained to you why there's a talking donkey, why there's a Shrek scene in the Torah. No one explained that to you? Never?
About.
Never an explanation. Okay. So we're going
I
to
don't
see
know what this parasha is about.
I recapped it for you. Let's go over what happens in order to really understand what's going on. So we're not going to read all these pesukim, but I'm going to give a break. Basically, what happens is that Bil'am, sorcerer, is traveling to curse the Jewish people, right? There's 3 scenes that take place of basically the same thing. What happens? He's traveling on his donkey, and as you see in the yellow, Vatere ha'aton et malach Adonai. An angel appears in front of the donkey. Now, who's able to see the angel? Who's not able to see the angel? An angel appears. Bil'am is riding on his donkey. They're traveling. Who's able to see the angel? Who's not able to see the angel? Any of you guys? Vatere ha'aton, right? The aton, only the donkey, is able to see the angel. Bil'am is not able to see the angel. And in this first case, right, they're traveling on a path, and the angel stands in front of the donkey. The donkey gets nervous and scared. He goes off the path onto the grass, into the field, and Bil'am gets very angry. And what does he do to the donkey? He hits the donkey, right? He hits the donkey. Hi, Sharon. How you doing? Miss you. Okay, so...
Hi, Rabbi. I miss you.
Yes. What's up, Sharon? Sharon, come to Minyan with Jack whenever you want, okay? We'll set up
a little too early, but okay.
A little too early for you, huh? Okay, no problem.
Yeah, good seeing
to
you,
see you.
Rabbi.
Be in touch, Sharon, okay?
Peace.
Okay, so as we were saying, the angel stands in front of the donkey. The donkey gets scared, doesn't know what to do. It's blocking the road. The donkey goes off the path into the field. The Bil'am gets very angry at his donkey that he's not going on the right path, and he doesn't realize that there's an angel there because Bil'am doesn't see the angel. Only the donkey sees the angel, and he hits the donkey, right? Vayach Bil'am et ha'aton, to put him back on the right path. That's scene number 1. Scene number 2, basically the same thing, right? The donkey sees, again, an angel, right? But this time, All right, they're in the middle of a vineyard, and there's two walls, one to the right, one to the left. And the donkey sees the angel. He gets very scared. He tries to go around the angel this time, but he's going around the angel. There's not a lot of room. He brushes against the wall, and he scrapes Bilam's leg, as you could see in the picture, right? He scrapes Bilam's leg against the wall. Bilam gets very, very angry. Vayosef lahakota. And what does Bilam do? He hits him, makeh. He hits the donkey, right? A second time that the angel intervenes in their trap. Okay? Now, we have a third case, right? A third situation. Again, right? The yellow is exactly the same. The donkey sees the angel in front of him. This time, right? What does the donkey do? The donkey sits down. He stops, right? He stops. And what does Bilam do this third time? Bilam goes, takes his makel, he takes his staff, and he hits the donkey, right? Beta's following with us, right? Do you like the pictures there, Beta? Give me a thumbs up. The pictures are helping, right? You're liking the pictures? Okay. Pictures are good. So we have three cases in which essentially the same thing happens over and over again. They're traveling, they see an angel, only the donkey sees it, Bilam doesn't see it, he hits the donkey, and after the third time, the fourth case is now unique. Now, after the first three times, now you have a fourth scenario, which is completely different than the first three scenarios that were very similar, right? Now, Vayiftach Adonai et pi ha'aton. Now, all of a sudden, God opens up the mouth of the donkey. And the donkey says, what did I do to you? Why? Why have you hit me these three times? I didn't do anything wrong to you, right? What did I do wrong to you? He gets the donkey is talking back to Bilam, like, for example, Elliot Sasson would talk back to me when I beat up Elliot Sasson in the middle of class, right? And then he goes to me and says, Rabbi, but the first time he's quiet, he doesn't say anything. The second time he's quiet, he doesn't say anything. The third time he doesn't say anything. The third time afterwards, he says, Rabbi, come on, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, right? The donkey, the mouth of the donkey, in this case, Elliot Sasson, your donkey, Elliot Sasson.
I don't know about that, Rabbi. I don't know about that scenario.
Donkey.
I feel like it's the
I'm not calling
opposite.
you a hamor.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you a hamor, chas shalom. Not what I'm doing. But all of a sudden, the hamor gets up and starts talking and says, why are you hitting me? Right? And then, and only then, once the donkey starts talking, Vaigal Adonai et ene Bil'am, all of a sudden then Bil'am starts to see, and he's able to see that the angel is standing in front of him, and that the angel has a sword in front of him, and Bil'am goes and bows down in awe of the angel that he was not aware of. That very good, Ellie. That was a fantastic bow. You've been practicing your bowing. Very good, right? Bil'am finally now realizes and sees that there's an angel, and he's in awe, right? And he bows down. Okay, so this is the story. So it's clearly a very strange story that we have over here, right? How do you explain this? How do you explain that the donkey is able to see an angel and Bil'am isn't able to see an angel? How do you explain the fact that the donkey, after three times, starts all of a sudden, Hashem opens up the mouth of the donkey and the donkey starts speaking? How do you explain these very, very strange phenomenons? That's what we're going to be basically deal with. So now we covered this, we explained this. Now I want to explain what's the purpose and the reason for this story. Clemi Abadia. Well. Let's see, guys.
Unacceptable, this guy. This guy is unacceptable.
The favorite student.
For sure your favorite student, Rabbi.
What is he doing? What is he
Is he
doing?
going barber? He's in a barber, I think. I think he's going to get a haircut.
Yo, Clem Dog, the gang.
I think he's going to get a haircut, Rabbi.
Clemi, your kind loves barbershops. You know that,
You're
right?
kind.
They love barbershops. There's
Your
even a movie.
species.
There's even
Your
a movie. I think
species.
there's like 3 of them: Barbershop 1, Barbershop 2, Barbershop 3. Clemi's embarrassed. Clemi, don't worry. Just do me a favor. Don't get one of those zigzags. You know the zigzags? Don't get one of those. It's not cool. It's not. You're gonna shave off the side like a Guido. Ay. Biggest mistake of my life. Messaging your name in. to Rabbi Tobias. Biggest mistake of my life. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I ate the night before.
I can't believe you chose him over me. I'm shocked, bro. I'm
Cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Mistake of my life.
I'm
All right.
shocked.
Well, let's see first if Clemmy can guess where I am. Clemmy, can you guess where I am? Leon Fatia was able to guess it within 3 seconds. 3 seconds, no one telling.
It's definitely not a restaurant.
It's a restaurant. It's a restaurant. Can you guess where I am?
Rabbi, the whole point is to mess with his brain. Come on, Rab.
Brooklyn or View first? I need to know Brooklyn or View.
He's in Brooklyn, New York. He's on King's.
Right, you doing it? Right.
It looks
You
like a
doing
dairy
fast in a
restaurant. With the sofa,
Right.
it looks like a dairy restaurant and the white picture. I don't know.
Jesus, you're so
Right.
weird. The
Right, you doing
sofa,
fast in the restaurant?
the sofa looks like a
Yeah,
dairy
why?
restaurant.
Recently, I've been saying sofa. I don't know why. It's a couch.
You're a weird
But
child.
it's a dairy restaurant. I could tell it's a dairy restaurant. Right, Rabbi?
Clemmy, you don't know, huh? Clemmy only goes to Holy Schnitzel. That's his only spot. Loves.
Right,
That's where the gang meets up.
That's where the
Bro, how
gang.
come you didn't take Ralph with you?
What?
How come
Yeah,
you
where's
didn't take
Ralph?
Ralph with you?
Ralph, I have a private habuta with Ralph every morning at 10 a.m.
Call for Ralph Levy.
We eat breakfast together. We learn Gemara together. It's ta'anu.
Ralph said since you chose him to text him last, and he's not coming.
He's so sensitive. Okay.
Ignore me, Rabbi. You know.
Okay, guys. So let's explain. You guys got the story down? I want someone to explain it to Isas and to
Zachary can explain it for you.
to Clemmy. Yeah, Zachary, you're always my guy. Explain briefly what we just said. Just summarize it for Clemmy. He's a little bit slow. He needs
All right, wait. What am I
a little
saying?
slow. Summarize what we just said about the Bilam and the donkey. Yeah, it's quickly.
Balaam was riding his donkey, and all of a sudden the donkey just stopped because it was an angel, and only the donkey saw the angel. Balaam didn't. Right?
Right.
So then Balaam hit the donkey so he would go.
How many
Right.
times did that happen?
It happens 3 times.
Happens 3 times. What happens after the third time?
Right. The 3rd time, the donkey says to him, "Why are you hitting me?"
Oh, no. First of all, Hashem all of a sudden opens up the mouth of the donkey, which is very peculiar, right?
Right, very
Yeah.
normal. Never heard a donkey talk.
Yeah. Very normal. Okay. And the donkey says, "Why are you hitting me these 3
It's
times?"
Shrek.
And then
It's
all of a
Shrek.
sudden, and only then, Bilam is able to see the angel, right? So let's summarize what we just had over here, guys. In 3 separate locations, Bilam hits the donkey. The first time, they're walking in a field. The second time, in a vineyard. The third time, in a narrow path. And each time, the donkey sees the angel, right? The donkey gets scared. He does something, right? In response to the angel being there, Bilam isn't able to see it. Bilam gets very angry at the donkey. He hits the donkey. After 3 times, the donkey gets up and says, "Hey, what is this?" And his mouth opens. Now, what's the point of this story? Now, in order to understand the point of the story of the donkey talking, you have to know the next part of the parasha. And I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm just going to set up for you guys to figure out the answer on your own. Now, what happens next? Bilam eventually gets to Balak. Bilam is the person cursing. Balak is the king that hired Bilam. And they get to the area in which Bnei Israel are traveling. And the goal here is that Bilam is supposed to stand on a very high spot, and he's supposed to curse Bnei Israel once he sees them. And that's what Balak wants. That's what the king wants. Now, what happens?
Rabbi, he ends up blessing them.
Very good. But pay attention to the structure of what happens over here. So Balak tells Bilam, "Hey, come over here on this mountain." He goes on the mountain, and the pasuk says, pay attention to these words in yellow, Vayisa meshalo vayomar. This happens once. Vayisa meshalo vayomar. Bilam gets up there and he says his words. He says, curse, right? But as Moshe ends up not cursing him, thank you. He ends up not cursing him. He ends up blessing him. Right? And then after the blessing, Vayomer Balak el Bilam, me'asita li. What did you do to me? I told you to curse my enemies. You didn't curse them. You ended up blessing them. What's the matter with you? Why did you do this? And what is Bilam's response? Vaya'an vayomar. And he says, all I can say is what God told me to say. I can't say anything else. Whatever God puts in my mouth, that's what it is. You want me to curse? Well, I can't curse unless Hashem wants me to curse. Hashem put in the words of my mouth blessings, so I bless. That happens the first time.
Amen.
Now what happens next? Okay? Second time. Balak, the king, says to Bilam, hey, let's go somewhere else. A different location. And in that different location, Bilam gets his prophecy, just like in the first time. And he doesn't end up cursing them. He ends up blessing them. Does he listen to Balak and curse them? No. He ends up blessing them and he gives them a blessing. And later on, after the blessing, he says, why are you blessing them? Don't curse them, don't bless them. But why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? These are my enemies. Why are you blessing them? Right? And then Bilam says the same thing. All I can do is what God puts in my mouth. That's the only thing I could do. And then it happens a third time. It happens a third time. So Balak says, let's go somewhere else. Maybe some other location it's going to work. And then again, he starts to speak these words of prophecy. He gives, again, not a curse, rather a blessing. Right? Balak gets very, very angry and he hits him. Right? He says, I asked you to curse them, but what did you do? You blessed them. How many times did you bless them? 3 times. You blessed them 3 times. He says, get out of my face. I'll deal with you. You're doing over here. This is terrible. Right? Now, what happens the 4th time? After the 3rd time, what happens? Bilam says, you know what? These people don't deserve a curse. They deserve a blessing. And on his own, without Balak even telling him to do it, he gets up and he gives them a blessing about the future. And it discusses the future of Bnei Israel and what's going to happen in the times of Mashiach with all of the nations and how we're going to destroy the nations. Right? And Bilam does this without Balak.
Well, the lions are going to eat veggies.
Yes, but that's not here. That's somewhere else. But yes, Elliot, very good. So, but Bilam gets up and on his own, after the 3rd time, he gets up on his own and he says his own blessing from his own heart and blesses the Jewish people, right? So now how do you explain this story? What do you see in common from the first story of Bilam riding with the donkey to the second story of Bilam Yeah, Elliot, you with me?
Whoa, it went black for a second, your screen. I didn't hear
Sorry.
what you said. I thought you froze or something.
Sorry. Yeah. What do you see in common between these 2 stories? Story 1 of Bilam on his way with the donkey, and story number 2, Bilam trying to curse the Jewish people.
That he's trying to do something bad in both stories. He's on a goal. He has a mission.
Okay, don't compare Bilam. Don't compare Bilam. Compare the stories. What do you have in common with these 2 stories? Yeah, Moshe.
Rabbi, maybe it's in both stories, the donkey, in the first story, the donkey keeps stopping, and then on the 4th time, Bilam realizes that he's right for stopping because there's a malach. And in the other story, Bilam keeps blessing Israel. And then on the 4th time, Balak realizes that Bilam is right for blessing him. Maybe the thing in common is that on the 4th time, the person realizes that the other person is right.
Fantastic, Moshe. The common denominator is that 3 times you have a master and the servant doesn't listen to the master. regarding Bilam, Bilam is the master, and the donkey is Bilam's servant. It's his donkey, right? Does the donkey listen to Bilam? No. Does the donkey listen to Bilam? No, the donkey doesn't listen to Bilam. The donkey sees something that Bilam doesn't see. The servant sees something that the master doesn't see. The donkey sees an angel. The master doesn't see the angel. Right? Now, played into the story of Balaq and Bilam. Balaq is the master. Who is the servant over here? Bilam. Balaq hired Bilam. In that case, Balaq doesn't realize that God is in control. Who realizes that God is in control? Not the master, rather the servant. And 3 times, the servant goes and says, hey, it does something that the master doesn't want. And the master gets very angry and says, why are you doing this? How could you do this to me? This isn't what I wanted you to do. In the case of Bilam and the donkey, Bilam hits the donkey, right? In the case of Balaq and Bilam, Balaq yells at Bilam. In both cases, the master is blind and the servant is able to see what's going on, is able to see the angel, is able to see God, right? But the master is not able to. So essentially you have a metaphor over here, and it's a very interesting metaphor that's going on here, right? You have, 1 second, let me get over here to make it clear. You have Bilam to the donkey equals, right, Balaq to Bilam. It's like a metaphor, right? In other words, right? In other words, Bilam in the story of the donkey is Balaq in the story of the cursing, and the donkey is really Bilam in the story of the cursing. You guys follow what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You guys with me over here? Oh, it's almost like a foreshadowing. So what's happening over here? While Bilam is on his way to curse, Hashem gives him a scenario with him and the donkey. But really, Hashem is telling him what's going to happen with Balaq and him. Hashem is showing Bilam the future. Hashem is showing Bilam what's going to happen in the future. What's going to happen is that Balaq is going to want Bilam to do something. Bilam is not going to be able to because Hashem doesn't want him to. Balaq is going to get very angry at Bilam. Bilam is not going to be able to do anything. And only after 3 times, right, is Balaq going to understand that there's nothing he could do about this, that Hashem is involved over here, and he's going to get the picture over here. Yeah, Leon.
Yeah, does he realize that like after he was commanded, like after like his scenario happened where he ended up blessing everybody, did he realize that that like that his situation with the donkey, like did he realize that happened to him, like
very good. Very good. Fatia, fantastic.
Yeah.
The whole point of this, obviously, Fatia, was Hashem sending a message to Bilam, right?
Yeah.
That's the point. The question is, did Bilam get the message? So either Bilam didn't get the message, or Bilam got the message, but he decided to ignore the message. He decided to go about doing it anyway. It's almost like Hashem warned him. Hashem said to him, hey, listen, this is what's going to happen if you go about this. I don't want you to curse the Jewish people. You want to go? Go ahead. You want to go? Go ahead. But I'm going to show you now what's going to happen. You're like a donkey. You're like a donkey in this case. And just like a donkey, he opened up his mouth. He was only able to say what God put in his mouth. So too you, Bilam, you're only going to be able to say what I put in your mouth. And only after 3 times are you guys going to get it, that you can't control the situation, that you can't do whatever you want, that I Hashem are in control of this whole scenario. So it was a message that was being sent. Did the donkey really talk? I don't know if the donkey really talked. Maybe, Fatia, this whole story was a dream. A dream in whose mind? The mind of Bilam. The mind of Bilam, to send Bilam a message. Hey, Bilam, listen. this is what's going to happen to you. Did Bil'am take the message? All we know, whether he understood it or didn't understand it, probably he did understand it. He didn't accept the message. He didn't follow the instructions that he got. He didn't listen to the warning that he received, and basically it was just a gigantic waste of time at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So that I believe, yeah.
If it was a dream, that I feel like it would be less convincing to him because it was just a dream. Like he might have thought nothing of it.
Well, for a Navi, a dream is how a Navi receives prophecy. That's for a Navi, that's like a prophetic dream, right? Like it's not like a regular dream. It's like a dream, you know what it's like? It's like the dream of Yosef with the bundles of wheat and the stars bowing down. You know, it's like a dream that has prophetic, right, messages behind it. Yeah, so Bilam gets that dream about this donkey. Was the donkey really talking? Is there a need? What's the point of a donkey talking? What's the point? The point here is that Hashem is trying to show Bilam, you're just a donkey. You can't do anything without me helping you. You can't say anything without me giving you the power to say it. Just like a donkey can't talk unless Hashem opens up the donkey's mouth, so too you, Bilam, your words have no power unless Hashem gives the power to your words. And that's exactly what happens in this week's parasha. That's the point of the story of this donkey. The Torah is not trying to tell you that there's donkeys that talk. That's not the point of it. It's trying to show you the message that Hashem is warning Bilam, and Bilam doesn't listen to the warning that he got. And the message for all of us is that sometimes, right, we get warnings in our lives, and sometimes we don't take them seriously. And the message here in the parasha is that we need to take the warnings that come into our lives seriously. You can't disregard them. You can't think, well, it's okay, I'll figure it out, I'll be fine. No, you're getting a warning. You're getting a warning. You're being told. You're getting a feeling that something is dangerous, that you need to be careful, that you need to protect yourself, that you need to change, right? You have to listen to that warning, whatever that warning may be, right? You have to listen to the messages that you're receiving, and you have to act on them, and you have to go towards them. Sometimes you don't know how to interpret those messages. That's why you're supposed to go to somebody to guide you and to help you and to talk to and to get advice from them, right? On how to go about your life. But sometimes you're on a crossroads. Like Bilam was traveling, he's on a crossroads. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. Hashem gives him a message. Hey, listen, Bilam doesn't listen to the message, or he doesn't even know how to interpret the message. The point over here is that you have to listen to the messages that come to you. It may not be a prophetic message, but everybody gets messages in their lives that you need to change your ways, you need to go in a different direction, you need to improve yourself, right? Everyone gets those messages, and you have to listen to those messages and act on them and do whatever it is to become better. So that is, I believe, the message, the true message behind the talking donkey, that it was a warning to Bilam to get on the right path and not to go down the wrong path that he was going down. Okay?